Hi, hello everyone! I'm Toshi from Japan and tourist guide for foreigners. In this video, I'll show you 20 Japan money tips you must know in 2026.
Japan has a lot of money rules that locals take for granted, but most foreign travelers have no idea about. Because of this, tourists get confused when paying, overpay without noticing, or even fall for scams. I shared some of these in a previous video, and the response was huge. Since then, as a tour guide, I've met over 300 travelers from around the world and realized there are many more money rules people still struggle with in Japan. So in this video, I'll share 20 updated money tips and hidden rules for 2026 to help you navigate Japan like a local. Watch until the end to avoid common mistakes and enjoy Japan more comfortably and affordably. Plus, I also offer guided tour in Japan, travel itineraries based on trip duration and area, and recommendations for unique cultural experiences.
You can find more information in the description below. So, let's get started.
Number 1 is old versus new yen, essential tips for travelers. One thing many tourists find confusing about Japan right now is the new banknotes. There are two main reasons for this confusion. First, both the old and new banknotes are in circulation. This means you'll need to recognize multiple designs. A friend of mine from the US actually thought the new banknote they received was fake. So, I highly recommend familiarizing yourself with the new designs before your trip. Second, not all machines in Japan can handle both old and new banknotes. For example, some train and bus ticket machines and vending machines still only accept the old notes, while others may only accept the new ones. If you encounter this, don't worry. Station staff or bus drivers can often exchange the notes for you. For vending machines, simply shop at a nearby supermarket or convenience store instead.
Keep these tips in mind and you'll avoid any hassle while enjoying your trip to Japan.
Number 2 is don't exchange money here. In a previous video, I said this: don't exchange money at airports or hotels because the rates are bad. Go into the city instead. But in 2026, this advice is starting to change. Here's a real example. One of my guests exchanged money in Asakusa, Tokyo, thinking it would be better than the airport because it was more convenient. On the same day, another guest exchanged the same amount of money in Shinjuku. The result was a difference of several thousand yen. The reason is simple. In Japan in 2026, exchange rates in tourist areas are often worse than at the airport. Places like Asakusa in Tokyo or Kuromon Market in Osaka are full of exchange counters and machines with very poor rates. What surprises many travelers is this: even inside the same 7-Eleven, different machines can offer different exchange rates. My recommendation is this: in Tokyo, look around Shinjuku West exit or the Omoide Okocho area. In Osaka, the Namba area is usually better.
The key takeaway is simple. Don't choose a convenience, check the rate.
Number 3 is no passport, no exchange. Here's something many travelers don't expect in Japan today. One of my guests ran out of cash in Tokyo and went to a currency exchange counter, but they had left their passport in the hotel safe. They couldn't exchange money at all. In recent years, Japan has tightened the rules. Now, many exchange counters and even exchange machines in the city ask for your passport, not just at the airport. The reason is simple. It's for anti-money laundering and identity checks. People often think it's a small amount, so it should be fine. But the amount doesn't matter. On top of that, you need your passport for tax-free shopping, and police can legally ask you to show it for identification.
So here is a rule. When you go out in Japan, always carry your passport.
Number 4 is Japan's ATM Fee Trap. Here's a quiet way money disappears in Japan, and most tourists never notice it. Convenience store ATMs change their fees depending on the time and the day. One of my guests withdrew cash at a convenience store around 11 p.m. Same ATM, same amount, same card. But later, when they checked the statement, the fee was noticeably higher than when they withdrew cash during the day. The reason is simple. In Japan, ATM fees change by time of day and day of the week. Late at night, early in the morning, and on weekends or holidays, fees are often higher. What makes this tricky is that the fee usually appears only after you insert your card. If you're in a hurry, it's easy to miss and confirm it without realizing. The fix is simple. Withdraw cash during weekday daytime hours and take out what you'll need at once. Avoid late-night withdrawals, even for small amounts.
This alone can save you a surprising amount of money in Japan.
Number 5 is don't keep coins. Although Japan is transitioning towards a cashless society, cash is still king in many places. As I mentioned in a previous video, it's essential to carry some cash during your trip. Luckily, exchanging money into Japanese yen is easy with currency exchange counters available at airports and throughout cities. However, here's an important tip: most currency exchange services in Japan don't accept coins. If you're left with small coins at the end of your trip, you won't be able to exchange them back into your local currency. This often leaves tourists scrambling to use up coins at the airport, sometimes on vending machines or capsule toy machines. To avoid this, try to use your coins throughout your trip for small purchases. Alternatively, opt for credit cards or IC cards like Suica for payments whenever possible. That said, cash is still a must in Japan.
Please check other chapters for tips on how to get and manage cash.
Number 6 is how to keep your cash safe in Japan. As mentioned in my previous video, Japan is still very much a cash is king culture, meaning you'll need to carry cash during your trip. That's why having a wallet that can hold plenty of Japanese bills and coins is essential. While Japan is one of the safest countries in the world, there's always a chance of losing your wallet or having it stolen. To keep your money secure, I recommend using a small wallet with a security feature, like a strap that hangs around your neck. These wallets are easy to find at Daiso, Japan's famous 100 yen store. They're affordable, practical, and perfect for travelers. Daiso also offers tons of other high-quality, budget-friendly items that are worth checking out. I've even made a video about my top recommendations from Daiso, so don't forget to watch it for more ideas.
Keep your cash safe and enjoy your worry-free, comfortable trip to Japan.
If you would like a personal guide in Japan or need recommendations for travel plans and cultural experiences,
Please contact me from the link in the description section.
Number 7 is don't overload your Suica. One of the biggest money mistakes tourists make in Japan is overcharging Suica, especially digital Suica on your phone. Here's a real example. One of my guests arrived in Japan and said, "I'll just charge a lot to be safe," and added 20,000 yen to their digital Suica on day 1. At first it feels perfect. You can use it for trains, convenience stores, vending machines, everything. The problem came right before they left Japan. They still had over 8,000 yen left, so they asked me, "Can I get this refunded?" Here's the truth. Digital Suica is almost impossible to refund. With a physical Suica card, you may be able to get a refund at a station counter, minus a fee. But Suica in Apple Wallet or Google Wallet is different. There are no refunds at ticket counters, no refunds from overseas, and once you leave Japan, you can't use it anymore. My advice is simple. Charge Suica only when you need it, and in small amounts.
Digital Suica can be topped up anytime. Convenience is not a reason to overcharge.
Number 8 is not all credit cards work in Japan. As I mentioned in Chapter 4, while Japan is moving toward a cashless society, there are still many places where cash is king. This means you might run into some surprises when using credit cards during your trip. Globally, credit cards like Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Diners Club are widely recognized. In Japan, however, the situation can vary depending on where you go. Large department stores and major chains usually accept all these cards. But at smaller restaurants, shops, or local businesses, the rules change. In most cases, Visa and MasterCard are your safest bets. However, American Express and Diners Club are often not accepted, even in places where you'd expect them to work. I experienced this firsthand after moving back to Japan with those cards I got in the US. It was surprising how often they weren't usable. So, when visiting Japan, I highly recommend carrying a Visa or MasterCard for convenience. And don't forget to keep some cash on hand, as many small businesses are still cash only.
This simple preparation will save you a lot of trouble and help you enjoy your trip to Japan smoothly.
Number 9 is double charges. One of the most stressful money moments for travelers in Japan is seeing what looks like a double charge on their credit card. One of my guests checked into a hotel in Tokyo and panicked right away. They said, "I'm being charged twice by the same hotel." But here's the key point. This is usually not a double charge. In Japan, hotels and rental car companies often place a large authorization hold on your card, separate from the room charge. This is for things like minibars or potential damage. The problem is timing. In Japan, the authorization and the final payment can both appear on your statement at the same time, and the hold may stay visible for 1 to 3 weeks. So here's how to avoid trouble. At check-in, ask, how much is the authorization? Make sure your card has enough available credit, and don't freeze your card right away.
In Japan, it often looks like a double charge, but it's just pending.
Number 10 is Japan's new credit card rule. Here's a change in Japan that catches many travelers off guard. One of my guests tried to pay by credit card at a small hotel in a rural area. The staff said please enter your PIN, but he didn't remember his PIN. In the past, many places in Japan accepted credit cards with just a signature, but that's changing fast. Today, more and more places require a PIN, not a signature. This is especially common at hotels, small local businesses, and outside major cities. The result was simple. His card couldn't be used. He had to find an ATM, withdraw cash, and pay extra ATM fees. The fix is easy, but you must do it before coming to Japan.
Make sure you know the PIN for every credit card you plan to use.
Number 11 is important info about consumption tax. Japan has a unique consumption tax system. The standard tax rate is 10%, but there's a reduced rate of 8% for everyday essentials. For example, groceries and daily necessities at supermarkets are taxed at 8%, while items like alcohol and tobacco fall under the 10% rate. Here's something interesting. When dining out, the tax is 10%, but if you order food to go, the tax drops to 8%. So, if you're grabbing a coffee at Starbucks, the tax is 8% for takeout, but 10% if you drink it in store. Most prices in Japan already include tax, but keep an eye out. Some smaller shops or specific products might show tax-exclusive prices. Also, many duty-free shops and tourist spots offer tax-free shopping options.
Stay tuned, because I'll cover everything you need to know about tax-free shopping in the next chapter.
Number 12 is Tax Exemption System. When I lived in the US, I used Japan's tax-free shopping system as a non-resident to save on purchases. Japan's consumption tax is 10%, so by using this system, you can shop 10% cheaper. However, many foreigners don't know about this benefit or aren't sure how to use it. Here are 5 key points to remember. First, make sure to get an entry stamp in your passport when you arrive in Japan, as it's easy to forget with automated dates becoming more common. Second, shop at tourist-friendly stores like Don Quixote, Yodobashi Camera, or Uniqlo. Third, remember to buy eligible items. These include both general products like electronics and bags, and consumables like food, alcohol, medicines, and cosmetics. Fourth, your total purchases for the day must be between 5,000 yen and 500,000 yen. And fifth, keep your items sealed and unopened until you leave Japan. If you open or use them before departing, the tax-free benefit may no longer apply. One last thing to keep in mind. The tax-free system may change in November 2026 due to increasing misuse of the program by people reselling goods purchased tax-free in Japan.
For more details, be sure to check out my previous video.
Number 13 is why your hotel isn't fully paid. One of the most surprising charges for travelers in Japan appears right at hotel check-in. It's the accommodation tax. Here's a real example. One of my guests booked a hotel online and thought everything is already paid. Then they checked in. At the front desk, the staff said, "Please pay the accommodation tax in cash." They didn't have enough cash, so they had to leave the hotel, find an ATM, and withdraw money. In Japan, more and more cities now charge an accommodation tax, but in many cases, this tax is not included in the price you see online. That means you may need to pay it separately at the hotel front desk on the day of arrival. There's one more thing to watch for. At hotels or ryokan with hot springs, a bathing tax may also be charged separately. These are not hotel fees, they are local government taxes. The simple fix is this: always have some cash ready when you check in.
Knowing this avoids unnecessary trouble.
Number 14 is Japan's unique payment etiquette. One thing that often surprises visitors in Japan is the unique way money is exchanged during payments at convenience stores, restaurants, and other places. Instead of handing cash or cards directly to the staff, you'll use a small tray placed at the cashier. This custom is unique to Japan and is not commonly seen in other countries. Having traveled to 75 countries myself, I can confidently say this practice stands out. It's not only a polite gesture, but also ensures smoother and more organized transactions. When paying, place your cash or coins on the tray, rather than giving them directly to the staff. Similarly, your change or receipt will often be placed on the tray for you to take. This small action reflects the emphasis on respect and order in Japanese culture.
By understanding and following this custom, you can immerse yourself more in Japanese culture and enjoy its unique traditions.
Number 15 is restaurant payment rules, cashier or table. One thing that often surprises my guests as a tour guide is how payments are handled at restaurants in Japan. Unlike many countries where you pay at the table, in Japan, it's common to walk up to the register to settle your bill. While some restaurants do offer table payment, about 60% of the time, you'll need to go to the cashier to pay. Fast food chains like McDonald's or Starbucks, however, follow the familiar global system where you pay at the counter before receiving your order. So, the payment method can vary depending on the type of restaurant you visit.
To avoid confusion, always take a moment to observe or ask about the payment process.
Number 16 is hidden restaurant etiquette. Did you know that Japan has a unique gesture for asking for the bill at restaurants? I've traveled to 75 countries and haven't seen this anywhere else. It's truly a special part of Japanese culture. In most countries, crossing your index fingers into an X shape means no or not allowed. However, in Japan, this same gesture has a completely different meaning at restaurants. It's how you signal, check, please. This small but practical gesture is incredibly helpful for foreign travelers who may not speak Japanese. Instead of struggling to communicate, you can simply make the X sign with your fingers, and the staff will understand that you're ready to pay. Next time you're dining out in Japan, try this out.
It's a fun and efficient way to experience Japan's unique culture while making your trip smoother.
Number 17 is the hidden table charge system. One of the highlights for many foreign tourists visiting Japan is going to izakayas, Japanese-style pubs. I even offer Japanese bar hopping tour, which are always a hit. However, there's an important custom you need to know before stepping into an izakaya. In about 90% of these places, a small dish of food will be served to your table, even if you didn't order it. This is called otoshi, and it's essentially a table charge, usually costing around 400 yen per person. In some places, you might be able to decline it, but most of the time, it's non-negotiable. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this system. You might end up paying for a dish you didn't choose and don't even enjoy. If you want to avoid this, I recommend ordering a course meal, as the table charge is often included, or opting for a regular restaurant instead of an izakaya. Japanese izakaya culture has many unique rules and customs.
So if you are interested in learning more, check out my previous video.
Number 18 is Japan's confusing bus payment system. One of the most confusing things for tourists in Japan is how bus payments work, because rules change depending on the region. Here's a real example. One of my guests took a bus in Tokyo one day. There, the fare was flat, paid after getting off, and everything worked smoothly. The next day, in a different region, they got on a bus thinking it would be the same. But this bus charged by distance, and you had to pay before getting off. They didn't know how to pay, had to stop the driver, and ended up holding up the people behind them. In Japan, bus systems can be distance-based or flat fare, pay first or pay after, and many still accept cash only. The simple rule to avoid trouble is this: always watch how the person in front of you pays before getting on. Japanese buses are not uniform nationwide.
If you don't check, you will waste both time and money.
Number 19 is avoid expensive taxis. Here's one of the most surprising travel costs in Japan: taxis at night and early morning. One of my guests took a taxi from Tokyo Station to their hotel just after 11 p.m. Normally, the fare for that distance would be about 1,500 yen, but the receipt showed 3,200 yen. The reason is simple: it included 3 extra charges: the late-night surcharge, the pickup fee, and app or area-based fees. Many tourists don't notice these extra costs. The fix is simple: travel during the day whenever possible, and if you must take a taxi late at night or early morning, check the fare with an app beforehand. Japanese taxis can cost nearly twice as much at night.
If you don't check, it can get very expensive.
Number 20 is the hidden cost of coin lockers. One of the tricky money issues in Japan is using coin lockers. Here's a real example. One of my guests left luggage in a station locker in the morning, planning to pick it up the next day. When they returned, the locker displayed expired. They panicked and contacted the management company, only to find extra fees had been charged. In Japan, a day in a locker usually means the station's business hours. Many lockers have a maximum storage period of 3 days, or 72 hours. If you go past the deadline, your luggage may be collected by the company, and retrieving it can cost extra time and a high penalty. The solution is simple. Always check the locker's operating hours and maximum period before storing your items. And for longer storage, consider delivery services or asking your hotel. This saves both time and money.
How was today's video? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like button. See you in my next video. Bye!